Hello, this is Dr. J back with some more Let's Play Command and Conquer. It's time to do Nod Mission 9. GDI has completely retaken Egypt, but it looks like now that we have Zaire, we are prepared to launch a counterattack into there. Despite the fact that there's 2 arrows, there is in fact only a single mission for Mission 9. So for once, we're not going to have to do multiple variations.
Our African campaign is going well, but our Egyptian fortifications have been weakened by GDI attacks from the Nile. One of our bases is under fire, and I need you to reinforce and rebuild. Remove the GDI presence from this region once and for all. Towards that end, we have developed a new weapon you may find useful. It's your move.
Ah, the Flame Tank. Flame Tank is one of the best units in the game. It is going to be an incredible addition to Nod's arsenal, which is going to help immensely with taking enemy bases thanks to its awesome power at destroying structures and infantry and light vehicles. As you can see, we are controlling a commando here. So although the commando is sort of thought of as a trademark GDI unit, in the campaign, Nod pretty much uses commandos just as often as GDI does. If we check the text briefing here, it says GDI is attempting to retake Egypt. Well, looks to me like they pretty much succeeded. Use every available resource in your efforts to stop them. The populace has once again swayed in support of GDI forces, so show no mercy in dealing with the villagers. Despite that bit of text, I don't think we actually have to kill the village in order to complete the mission. I think just destroying the GDI forces is sufficient. This is another mission that starts out kind of puzzly at the beginning. Our forces are scattered all over the place. I guess we're still recalling our main force from the United States or whatever the heck Seth did with it. So we have to make do with these piecemeal forces. What we have to do is use the commando to basically go and rescue these Rocketeers, first of all, because we're going to need them to take out some vehicles that are going to be in our way when we go to rescue those engineers who are up by the drop zone flare.
No problem, no problem. You got it. You got it. I'm on it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
As long as you have the space to kite, the commando can take a basically infinite number of enemy infantry. I think we have now successfully rescued the Rocketeers. So now it's time to go back around this ridge. We're going to move up here to rescue the engineers. I'll go ahead and make a save scum save here.
Yo, you got it. Yes, sir. I'm on it.
We also appear to have become an online chess buddy for Kane. So that's pretty cool. Playing chess with Kane. Seems like we're really the rising star of Nod at this point, aren't we? Pretty much Kane's favorite commander at this point, I do believe. Why wouldn't we be? We have had an unbroken string of successes here in Africa.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Yes, sir.
Boy, the Rocketeers are so slow. It's painful. I don't want to go too far ahead with the commando because I don't remember when we run into the enemy vehicles. So I'm going to want the Rocketeers with us. We also can't take too terribly long because the enemy does have airstrikes in this mission. And if they start launching their airstrikes before we have found our base and started building up our forces, then we're probably dead. Alright.
I'm on it. I'm on it.
Move forward. I think there's a Humvee and a medium tank we have to remove. The Humvee is obviously a huge threat. We don't want it killing our commando. It is not an instant mission failed if the commando dies, but Okay, medium tank first, it looks like. But the longer we can keep the commando alive, the better, obviously. Alright, we'll go ahead and let him take the hits for the Rocketeers, because he's more durable than they are. Alright, that went very smoothly. And I think Humvee is going to be out next, but I don't remember if there's also infantry between us and the engineers.
Yes, sir. I'm on it.
There might be.
Acknowledged. Moving out. You've got it.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Reporting.
Yo, no
Should
problem.
probably scout with the commando. Okay, there it is. Take it out. Don't let our commando die if we can help it. Alright, now have him snipe the driver.
Tough guy. Yo,
Okay, now we've got some infantry. Pull the Rocketeers back.
no problem.
Affirmative.
We do have to have a quick trigger finger here.
No problem.
We're almost there.
I'm on it.
Any more threats? Okay, looks like we've successfully rescued the engineers. One more scummy save, and then I think once we rescue our base, we'll make a final scummy save and then do the rest of the mission without any more of that nonsense. I think this path will take us back to our base. Either this one, or both. We'll try this one first.
Yeah. You got it. I'm on it.
The song seems very happy with how everything is going.
No problem. I'm on it. You got it. Yeah, I'm on it.
This is a very goofy song. Not really,
No
doesn't really conjure images of war.
sir. You got it.
Yes, sir.
I'm on it.
New construction.
Alright.
options.
Oh, if we can get in there, this would be perfect timing before the harvester is done dropping off its Tiberium.
GDI
Superb!
captured.
Yes, sir.
GDI
You
building.
got it.
Okay,
captured.
good. Now, the question is, where is the Tiberium that the harvester was harvesting? Okay, it remembers where it was. Now, I'm pretty sure there's a gunboat here.
Right away, sir.
Oh, well, why don't you go harvest this? This is probably closer than whatever you were going toward.
New
Can we build turrets yet? We can, finally!
Reporting. Yes, sir.
Let's set up some turrets for the gunboat. They should be able to take it out pretty handily. Actually,
cancelled.
we
Building.
might want to sandbag crawl
Construction
to
complete.
the shore. It'll only take a single sandbag. Okay, you can stop shooting at that now. Just so that the turrets are most definitely in range. Okay, that'll be our sacrifice. Let's get him far away from the commando so the commando does not get airstriked. Now, we just have to be on the lookout for attacks on our base, and this is going to be our final scummy save. So that we can resume from here if things go really south.
Construction complete.
We ended up not having to reload any of our saves, so rescuing our various troops, and then the base went very, very smoothly. Where is the gunboat? I'm almost positive there is one, but it's really taking its time showing up.
Building.
Actually,
Hold.
flamethrowers are quicker for whatever bizarre reason, because they're elite troops, I guess, so
Ready.
make a flamethrower for some quick scouting. And I know that this seems like a bizarre decision, but I'm going to build a silo,
Construction complete.
because I want to wait to get the lay of the land before I decide exactly how I want to build.
Moving out.
The commando will be able to... Okay, there's the gunboat. I'm guessing the gunboat obsessively wants to kill the commando. Probably. That's why it's not firing at anything else. That's my guess. So, as long as we keep the commando out of range, then
You got
the
it.
gunboat won't fire at anything else, and the turret will eventually kill it.
Right away, sir.
I thought there was Tiberium over here. Wow, it's really far away. Is there not a closer patch? If not, then we might want to sandbag crawl our way over there to build a
Building.
refinery closer to
Yeah, no problem.
the Tiberium. Looks like it's time for the commando to shine.
No problem.
Uh-oh, that is not good timing. That's abysmal timing.
Unit lost.
No!
Our base is under attack. Building.
So, the airstrike happened at the very brief interval when our commando was the northernmost unit. That was very unlucky.
Yes, sir.
We're going to go ahead and try to complete the mission without the commando. He's not actually necessary anymore.
Ready and
He
waiting.
could have made it easier because he's so good at killing enemy infantry, but
Right away, sir.
we'll try to make do without him. Okay, there's a medium tank coming in, but now that we can build turrets, fighting off enemy armor should be a pretty easy affair. Do we destroy the gunboat? I actually didn't see if we've taken it out yet. Wouldn't surprise me if the answer is no.
Reporting. You got it.
Where to place this turret is kind of going to depend on what angle the... Oh, and here come more
Building.
enemy infantry. I really would have appreciated if I still had the commando around to deal with them. A couple of flamethrowers might be a halfway adequate replacement. Okay, let's have this guy lure the medium tank, which from the direction of its turret clearly has homicidal rage against this guy for some reason. We'll use him to lure it into range of the gun turret. Okay, it's going to take us forever to destroy that gunboat with a single turret. Fine, whatever. Well, medium tank was actually smart enough to retarget, to my mild surprise.
Unit lost.
Disruptive. Song is disruptive. Let's play drone. I've said this before, but I really like the Counter-Strike tracks. They're so atmospheric.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Good grief, we're under quite heavy assault. Maybe we don't need another turret.
Cancel.
One will be fine for wiping out
Building.
Humvees. What we really need are more flamers for dealing with the infantry. Was really unfortunate the way we lost our commando.
Unit.
I wouldn't be shocked if we ended up reloading because of the way we lost our commando there. That was just appallingly bad luck.
Yes, right away, sir. Waiting order. Right away, sir.
Alright, let's start sandbag crawling and putting down a refinery closer to the Tiberium field so that we can get a proper economy going. This is much too slow. And that is a small field. It is not okay. This is a problem.
Building. Building.
Now, the turret's heavily armored, so the grenadiers won't take it out fast, but they will get it eventually. Actually, I gave you an order. I expect you to follow it.
Ready.
Go fight those grenadiers.
Right away, sir. Moving out. Yes.
Building.
Okay.
Construction complete.
Right away, sir.
Building.
Whew.
Construction complete.
Things are under control for now. Been a little chaotic. That's not a bad thing, though. Missions are fun when the enemy doesn't just sit there and let you build up endlessly.
Building.
Reporting. Moving out.
Construction complete. Building.
Awaiting order. Affirmative.
Construction complete. Building.
So, do I really want to snake all the way around here and build a refinery there? I know it's boring, but I think I do want to do that.
Building.
Reporting. Moving out.
It would be a long trip
Construction
from where I
complete.
currently have the sandbags.
Building. Building.
While we're waiting, I can build a few more flamethrower infantry. They're going to become completely obsolete once we put down an airstrip and we can
Unit ready.
deploy
Construction
flame
complete.
tanks. Flame tanks are amazing.
Ready and waiting. Right away, sir.
Construction complete.
Definitely a contender for my favorite Nod unit. They're just incredibly powerful.
Construction complete.
We are slowly wearing down that gunboat.
Building.
I guess it wasn't my commando he was obsessed with then. I don't know what it is he wants to kill. But I am content if he's not going to fire on my base, because that would be
Construction complete.
quite problematic.
Building.
This mission would be more difficult than it already is if we had a gunboat
Complete. Building.
sending volleys of rockets at our base every time it passed by.
Construction complete.
I'm going to leave that one there, because I might put my airstrip there. It's a bit of an oddity in the original Command & Conquer, but because Nod vehicles are delivered from the eastern side of the map,
Building.
the closer your airfield is to the eastern side of the map, the more quickly the units you order get delivered.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Kind of silly, obviously not balanced, but it is the way it is, so we
Our
will
base is under attack.
keep in mind that
Building.
we have to deal with that.
Building. Construction complete.
Almost there.
Building.
Reporting.
Everyone's just standing around while this rocket soldier comes up and starts shooting rockets at our turret. What is wrong with you idiots? I know I could put them into guard mode, and then they would be a little more active in defense. I'm well aware of that. But that comes with its own problems.
Building.
Sometimes when you just put everybody into guard mode, they end up attacking things where you would prefer that they would hang back, so there's not really any perfect behavior for your defensive units. Did we finally get the gunboat? We might have. The fact that the turret is pointing perfectly south tells me maybe the gunboat was here and then it blew it up. It would probably be pointing east or west if the gunboat had escaped it once again.
Moving out. You got it. Reporting.
That flamethrower will be able to kill whatever minigunner comes out of the medium tank, assuming that any does.
Cancel.
So here's a little bit of an oddity.
Building.
Refineries build awfully fast for 2,000 credit structures, way faster than weapon factories or airstrips. And helipads build unbelievably fast, considering that they cost 1,500. There's a reason for that. It's because part of the refinery's cost includes the cost of the harvester that comes with it. 1,400 is for the harvester, and only 600 is for the refinery. In the case of helipads, only 300 is for the helipad itself, and then the other 1,200 is for the actual aircraft. Only the cost of the building is factored in to the build time for structures, which means that even though the refinery costs 2,000, it builds at the speed of a 600 credit structure. And although the helipad costs 1,500, it builds at the speed of a 300 credit structure. Now, although I'm pretty sure that's a bug and not intended behavior, so it's probably an accident, I actually think it's pretty good balance. Because since you need refineries for your economy, it's kind of boring if you just have to sit back and wait forever for them to finish building. So it's actually not a bad thing, in my opinion, that they build relatively quickly. And in the case of helipads, I likewise don't think it's really a bad thing that they build fairly quickly, because air units are much more specialized. And because they're so heavily specialized and only useful in certain situations, they are, from a certain point of view, arguably less useful than things like tanks. And the fact that they build so quickly helps to even that out and make them a little bit more attractive of a thing to build, because you can make them so quickly. That's my opinion anyway. I think it's confirmed that the gunboat is destroyed, so we can go ahead and sell this turret. Which, we pretty much break even if we build a turret and then sell it. Because it costs 600, we sell it, get 300 back, and we get 3 minigunners out of it. Which is what we would have gotten anyway if we had just spent 300 credits just making minigunners. Let's go take care of these grenadiers who are almost dead, and now a communication center, and then we are finally going to build an airstrip and start building and... Oh, they're minigunners, not grenadiers. Either way, we got them. To finally start building an armored force to take the enemy base. Here comes a lone medium tank. Not going to be much of a threat. Oh, looks like it's planning on targeting our power plant or something. Nope, he changed his mind. Now his turret is pointing at... Oh no, it's our airstrike sacrifice. I am really starting to think, watching the AI's behavior, that it is definitely not just airstrikes, but that due to some kind of bug, the AI in general really has a strong preference for targeting whatever your northwesterly most unit is. Very odd. We would have wanted a communication center anyway, even if we didn't value it for the minimap, because a communication center is required in order to be able to build flame tanks. And obviously we are going to want to build many flame tanks. Turret versus medium tank is an easy win for the turret as long as it's under repair. Pretty sure the turret wins even if it's not under repair, but it's not even a contest as long as the turret is being repaired. Oh well, I mean, I stand corrected. It did get reduced to half hit points, so never mind.
Yes, sir. You got it. Reporting. Moving out. You got it.
in general, once you have a base set up and you've got production going, the AI usually isn't too hard to deal with because the attacks it sends are usually fairly small.
Construction
You know,
complete.
1 or 2 vehicles at a time, infantry squads. And it generally takes more than just a small handful of units in order to do meaningful, significant damage. The AI would be a lot more threatening if it sent larger attack forces against us. But it doesn't. And we can now build artillery, which are very cheap, 450. They're also not very good, so we're not likely to make a whole lot of them. They're incredibly fragile, incredibly slow, and they have a very, very slow turn speed, which matters more than you might think.
Silos needed.
Oh, silos needed. Good lord. That means we need to build more things.
Building.
Let's start getting flame tanks
Construction complete.
and scouts. Make another attempt to scout out the enemy base, which is clearly here in the northeast corner.
Acknowledged. Moving out.
Construction complete.
Roger.
Building. Reinforcements have
Orders moving out.
arrived.
Acknowledged. Roger.
Now, interestingly, although I have not made missions for the original Command and Conquer, I've made a whole lot of missions for Red Alert.
Construction complete.
And they're fairly similar. The Red Alert scripting is quite a bit more robust than the original CNC scripting, but fundamentally they're fairly similar. By the way, if you're interested in custom campaigns for these old games, look up Red Alert Alternative by Dr. J Studios. Should be just about the top result if you do a search for it. I have a huge, very warmly received custom campaign for the original Red Alert. Give it a play if you like that kind of thing. I bet that you'll really enjoy it. But anyway, since I know quite a bit about the mission scripting, one thing I know is the team types for the original Command & Conquer and Red Alert. Team type basically just means a group of units that the AI controls in some way, which includes, of course, attacks that the AI builds to send against you.
Have arrived.
Their movement... Oh my, hold on. I have to interrupt this discussion to stop my harvesters from being idiots. Wow, we exhausted that Tiberium field in a hurry. Okay, go down here first of all, because I don't trust your pathing. If I send them straight to this Tiberium field, they might take this long, idiotic way around, kind of following the ridge. Whatever their pathing algorithm is, it seems to result in that kind of behavior if you send them really far away.
Unit reporting. Roger.
At least partially, it seems like they're kind of trying to move in a straight line, but then they're smart enough to follow ridge lines and such to eventually arrive at our destination. So I don't know exactly how the algorithm works. It's a fairly non-trivial thing to make performant real-time pathfinding across large maps when a whole lot of units are all doing the pathfinding at the same time. But anyway, back to what I was discussing. The way team types work in these games is they're waypoint based when you order them to move, which means you tell them to like move to waypoint 7 or whatever. This guy right here is probably moving toward a waypoint. In fact, it looks like he moved to a waypoint there, now he's moving to the next one that whatever script he's following ordered him to move toward. Now this is relevant in terms of the size of the teams the AI will send against you. Because if too many units, about 5 or 6, all try to move to the same waypoint, sometimes the AI bugs out, and one of them gets stuck trying to enter the waypoint because the others are in his way, and then the team just ends up stuck at that waypoint forever. And then if other teams also come to that waypoint and try to use it, then the traffic jam just gets worse and worse, and everybody remains stuck there forever. And if that happens, the AI will just have this huge clump of units that is just stuck and unable to move. Let's actually start building more flame tanks. Why is my force exclusively light tanks almost? Which means there's kind of a limit on the size of attacks that the AI can send against you at once. About 5 vehicles is about the most you want to put into a single team type. And 4 is safer, because 5 actually can get stuck sometimes. 4 basically never does, from what I've seen. Now, there are ways around this, like trying to coordinate having the AI attack with multiple teams at once. or using all units to hunt command, which just causes them all to attack without relying on waypoints. But the point nonetheless remains that due to these quirks with the way the team scripting works, it does make it harder to have the AI send really large attacks of the kind that could be truly threatening. So it's just a little background information about the programming and scripting in this game. Hopefully that was interesting to somebody. I think that kind of thing is fascinating because I'm a video game developer myself, just a hobbyist. I am a professional software developer, but not in the video game industry. The video game stuff I do is hobby work. So I just eat that kind of thing up. I think it's fascinating. Now that we have access to the flame tanks, we're not necessarily going to need to rely on engineer captures quite so heavily to finish off enemy bases, because the flame tanks are going to be really baller at destroying enemy structures and infantry. So if we rely on the light tanks for dealing with anything that's heavily armored, and then the flame tanks for virtually everything else, our attack forces should finally be strong enough that we can rely on them to deliver a real knockout punch to the enemy bases without having to sneak in engineers to like capture their construction yard to prevent them from rebuilding stuff. Just our armored forces by themselves should be enough to get the job done. Once Nod gains access to the flame tank, that's when you can actually make really devastating attack forces. Until then, whatever you can muster in the way of anti-infantry, whether it's attack buggies, minigunners, flame infantry, are so fragile that they have a tendency to get wiped out really easily. But the flame tanks are heavily armored, so they're actually pretty durable. Also, we destroyed the church because there was a money crate in the church, so now we can build more stuff. There's very often money crates under churches in these Westwood real-time strategy games. Why, I have no idea, but they are, so we will take advantage of that.
Building. Reinforcements have arrived.
Okay, guys. No. You are not the anti-infantry force. This is the anti-infantry force. Okay, we have a really narrow bottleneck here, which is causing irritating issues with my unit's positioning. There we go.
Construction complete.
Okay, this guy decided he's taking a different way. Because of his pathing. Whatever. Alright, let's all congregate in front of the enemy base, and then I think we've got enough of a force we can just rush in and crush everything. The sheer destructive power of the flame tanks on the enemy base and their infantry is going to be a real sight to behold. I don't even care about their orcas. We'll just suck up the damage from the orcas. We should be able to endure it long enough. Okay, I was expecting the flame tanks to take out that guard tower a little faster than that. I had forgotten the enemy has 2 advanced guard towers here. That is honestly a little problematic. Alright, my tanks should probably deal with the enemy medium tank. This attack is not quite going as well as I had hoped it would. We are suffering a lot of losses just getting in the front door, which I didn't quite expect. It's going to be real bad if this attack fails, because I've thrown so many resources into it. I thought this was going to be enough. I may have been wrong. I may regret not having an engineer. Yeah, this attack didn't do it. Look at that. We're pretty much wiped out. Wow, we failed. I didn't think we would. Maybe we can get their construction yard, but I kind of doubt it. What a disaster. Wow, that was just a total failure. Okay. And they're just going to rebuild everything we destroyed, so that attack was essentially totally pointless. Well, Very well. Let's try economic harassment now then. We'll just take out their harvester to inhibit their ability to rebuild after all the damage we inflicted. Please do not just sit there getting destroyed by infantry. You're a flame tank. Man, after I hyped up how powerful the attack was going to be, it didn't really accomplish much of anything, did it? I really underestimated how well well defended the enemy base was. That was very much my mistake. Man, these refineries over here to the east are not helpful anymore. We need them to be closer to the west. I might sell them and potentially rebuild one refinery closer to that one Tiberium field. Okay, that guy just doesn't feel like fighting. This guy also doesn't feel like fighting. Hey guys, what the heck? Cowardice is punished by death. Idiots. Yeah, let's build some new refineries. Or at least one. Sell these.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
They have completely rebuilt their defenses.
Moving out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Either an attack destroys everything, or at least kills the enemy construction yard, or it's ultimately futile and doesn't really accomplish anything. Uh-oh.
Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting. Moving out.
Okay, well, our flame tank is about to get napalmed. Alright, he took heavy damage, but he didn't quite die. I really want to finish this refinery. There we go. Okay, go harvest. Might as well gather these guys for an attack force. Now the enemy doesn't seem to really have anything to harvest anymore. I don't even know where that harvester was going. Okay, we have a counterattack force coming at us. A single flame tank could probably take all those infantry. We will build one to intercept them. Bring these guys up. I am going to want another couple of recon bikes to deal with the enemy orcas. The fact that I forgot about them and didn't have anti-air with my attack force is one of a variety of reasons that attack was such a fiasco. So, let's build another couple recon bikes so that we don't have a repeat of that. Alright, while we wait for the flame tank to arrive, because flame tanks are kind of slow. Let's peel off some of these guys to slow down the enemy infantry. Well, they didn't accomplish much, but they did slow them down just a tiny bit. Alright, flame tank. Teach these enemy infantry the meaning of true fear. Beautiful. One more recon bike. Can you chase this guy down? It is rather bizarre, from a realism standpoint, how in the original Command & Conquer, infantry can just about keep pace with tanks. Wildly unrealistic. I think real-life tanks can go like 60 miles per hour. They can go reasonably speedy considering how heavy they are. Shut up, Ava. That said, I actually don't hate the balance of it. The fact that the unit speeds are slowish gives the original Command & Conquer a more methodical pace that I actually like. In Red Alert, the tanks are given a more realistic, pretty zippy pace. And Red Alert, as a result, is a much faster-paced game, which I think most people like. But personally, I actually prefer the somewhat slower, more thoughtful, methodical pace of the original Command & Conquer. And it's not because I can't handle fast-paced games. I can. I just, for reasons I can't even clearly articulate, I have an aesthetic preference for this kind of speed. Where's my other flame tank, anyway? I know I had another one. Where'd he go? Who knows? I need one more recon bike. Well, I don't know if I really need it, but I'll feel more secure with 3 to take out the orcas. Okay, you know what? Pull back, pull back. It's a lot of enemy infantry. What did happen to that flame tank?
Building. Reinforcements have arrived.
Moving out. Affirmative.
Unit
Vehicle
lost.
Good grief.
acknowledged. Yes,
Unit
Attempt to
lost.
squish then.
acknowledged. Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Construction complete.
Unit acknowledged. Affirmative.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
This is embarrassing, guys.
Building.
See how the enemy is doing a really good job of dodging the squish? This is why I say squishing is unreliable. I don't like relying on it for my anti-infantry at all.
Yes, sir.
The enemy's micro for squish avoidance is incredibly good when it's in the mood.
Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Let's send these recon bikes to lure out the enemy orcas and shoot them down.
Moving out.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Let's go ahead and attack the enemy harvester as well.
Moving out.
Maybe in order to lure out the orcas, I'm going to have to go around the other way.
Moving out.
Otherwise, I'll be within range of all the guard towers, and that'll end badly for a couple of recon bikes.
Building.
Awaiting order.
Enemy infantry are coming out to have words with us.
Needed.
Acknowledged.
For crying out loud, fine, I'll build another silo again.
Building.
Yes. Affirmative. Yes. Yes.
Construction complete.
Unit reporting. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Moving out.
Reinforcements have arrived.
There's the last guy.
Yes, sir.
There.
Yes, sir.
As long as we have flame tanks available, we really don't need to worry about the enemy infantry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out. Unit reporting.
Alright, I'm going to build more recon bikes for
Building. On hold.
anti-harvester
Cancel.
operations.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Oh man, that single infantry is going to cause issues for my recon bikes. Okay,
Moving
get
out.
close enough to make the orcas mad, then turn back. Run back to here so that the orcas will follow us and we'll be away from the enemy infantry. And then hopefully shoot down the orcas. Oh, hey Harvester, how you doing?
Construction complete.
I think Harvesters count as lightly armored, so... Okay, did I lose 2 recon bikes there? No, one's just hiding behind a tree. So... Alright, recon bikes, I'm not thrilled with your performance there.
Yes, sir.
One of you died, and we shot down 0 enemy orcas. That is not what I was hoping for.
Yes, acknowledged.
Defend yourself, please. The enemy is spending a fortune on infantry.
Moving out. Vehicle reporting.
Alright, we're gonna have to do another round of anti-orca operations. Are they at least damaged? That one's hurt, that one's not. Okay.
Yes, sir. Moving
That
out.
exchange went pretty badly for us then.
Building.
Maybe I should have gone with rocket soldiers.
Yes, yes, sir.
I just don't like to rely on them because they're so dang slow. Okay, he didn't do too much damage to that recon bike, but that was silly.
Vehicle reporting. Unit
For crying out loud.
acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Fine, lure the grenadier back into... Okay,
Reinforcements have arrived.
that was hilarious. The recon bike was so fast that the A-10s weren't able to destroy him with their napalm, and they accidentally killed the grenadier who was being so annoying.
Yes, sir.
I'm very happy with how that went.
Building.
Recon bikes and maybe attack buggies are pretty much the only things that can actually outrun the airstrikes like that.
Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Boy, the enemy just building tons of infantry. They're pretty obsessed. Where are they getting all this money? Like, this harvester is probably bringing in like 100 credits per run. The enemy does cheat in regard to its funds.
Moving out.
It does not strictly follow the rules, so it may be that the harvester is pulling in way more money than it should legally be able to.
Building.
Okay.
Acknowledged.
The enemy is producing so many infantry, it's making it hard to carry out the anti-orca operation.
Unit acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Okay, we got one Orca. We didn't lure the other one successfully.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Moving out. Unit reporting. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Alright,
Building.
now.
Affirmative.
Lure the last Orca.
Affirmative.
Good, we got him.
Moving out.
Silos needed.
Good grief, Eva, I'm working on it. I guess it's a good thing that we're pulling in money fast enough to get that complaint, even while we're making units.
Reinforcements have
Alright,
arrived.
that's it for the enemy Orcas. Now we will use our recon bikes for harvester harassment operations. Honestly, this level should have been over a long time ago, but I attacked prematurely before I had enough forces, and so
Yes, sir.
the disaster that we now see was the result.
Unit lost.
Okay, that you guys weren't supposed to go around in that direction. Good pathing. Good pathing.
Lost.
Unit report. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Moving out.
Good grief.
Building.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Vehicle reporting. Unit report. Yes, sir.
Alright, I'm going to put the
Construction complete.
flame tanks on their own anti-infantry control group, and then everybody else on another one. I've been doing that all along, but
Building.
now I'm explicitly calling it out.
Yes, sir. Vehicle reporting. Unit reporting.
Do we have enough forces to try this again? Maybe not.
Construction complete. Building. Reinforcements
Thanks to the
have
economic harassment, the enemy seems to have basically nothing in the way of forces anymore. So there's that. We have almost cleared the entire map of Tiberium, although the Blossom Tree has really regenerated that patch over there. I kind of regret selling both of those refineries now. I should have left one, I guess. I didn't think the Blossom Tree would regenerate quite that much. Thought they were a little slower than that.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Unit acknowledged.
I'm getting impatient.
complete. Building.
Hopefully we don't have another failed attack.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Is this going to be enough this time? Maybe. No orcas, one infantry, no vehicles. There are 2 AGTs and 1 regular guard tower. I think we've got enough to punch through that.
Yep, yep. Yep, affirmative. Moving out.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Oh, they are selling buildings. That means they're low on cash.
Construction complete.
However, I think that one of the ways the AI cheats, I believe it gets the full value of buildings back when it sells them instead of half like we do.
Unit lost.
Which means as it sells buildings, it's going to get enough money to produce a lot of units to defend itself.
Yes, sir. Yep, moving out. Yes, sir.
Construction complete.
Alright, let's get in there, kill these stupid infantry.
Reinforcements have arrived.
You would think that this weapons factory, which looks pretty heavily armored, would be hard to take down, but no, they're lightly armored and don't have many hit points. So they're really easy to destroy.
Moving out. Yes, sir.
Alright, attack was a success this time. Let's move in and get their construction yard.
Building.
They rebuilt that guard tower, irritatingly. Peel off some forces to go finish it. And now their construction yard, and then it's over. Then it's a mop-up operation.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, yep, that's our win. Mop-up time.
Construction complete.
And we didn't even have to do an NG rush.
Building. Reinforcements have arrived.
Yes, sir.
Look at how fast flame tanks destroy structures. This is what I was expecting to see before. Incredibly fast, their ability to take out enemy structures. And then they just
Construction.
utterly annihilate whatever infantry come out. So they are incredible for base mop-up. Yeah, mopping up bases is a real pain without flame tanks, but with flame tanks, such a joy.
Acknowledged.
Sounds like a flame tank commercial. The flame tanks deserve commercials. They're so awesome.
Unit reporting. Yes. Unit.
I think that guard tower might be the last GDI thing on the map. So once we take it out, it should be well done to us. After this mission, we're going to go back to GDI, and from this point forward, we're going to be... The GDI and Nod campaigns are going to be fairly in sync. So we are going to be switching back and forth between them at pretty regular intervals, just 1 or 2 missions each before we switch back to the other one. We're pretty much entering the final act of the story now. At least I consider it the final act. Really reaching the climax of the story. Okay, that wasn't the last thing after all. Now, it doesn't mean that we're almost done yet,
Yes, sir.
because there's still several... Oh, they rebuilt this, or I just neglected to destroy it at all, I think is what happened. So, well done to me. But that doesn't mean we're almost done, because there are several missions left in both campaigns still, and the final mission for each side, and obviously the final mission is huge, it takes a while. There are 3 variations of it for both sides,
Mission accomplished.
which means we're going to do 6 final missions. And every single one of those 6 final missions is going to be a huge brawl, so that alone means there's still plenty left in the main campaign. And that is not even counting all of the expansion missions that we're going to be doing after the main campaign. So yeah, even though we're starting to approach the climax of the story, still lots of content left to go. Well, next time, back to GDI. Hopefully you'll join me for that, and I'll see you then.